I'm Jasmine McBride, and this is my reflective commentary on writing. In Module 1, we read Chapter 1 of Graham's textbook. In Chapter 1, he said something that really stood out to me that I plan to use from here on out when teaching writing. It's that if teachers know their why, they will invest more time. It's so important for me as a teacher to know my why and to understand the importance of writing so that I know how to explicitly teach writing. One of my biggest takeaways or things that I learned from in this course has been from the Words Their Way book. This book has really helped me understand different developmental levels for reading and writing, and it has some amazing resources that I plan to use in my classroom from here on out. I also learned a lot about integrating writing in this course and plan to take it into my teaching practices. One thing that I already knew, but I got to learn more about in depth and to really see the importance of was the importance of a classroom environment and encouraging students and motivating students. And a lot of this came through the different equity discussions and the equity videos, but just seeing how big of a difference it can make when students feel that motivation and they feel that their culture and their background and their language is being included in the writing in my classroom. So I learned this and plan to use it in my classroom from here on out. I chose to put in these two charts from the Words Their Way book because, one, like I said, I really learned a lot and am taking a lot from Words Their Way, but also because in Module 2, during the lecture, the developmental stages of writing were discussed. And I learned that I can use those stages of writing to conference and to tell parents where their students are versus just saying they're not where they're supposed to be or they need to be here by the end of the year and they're not there. I can actually explain where their students are and show what steps can be taken to help provide support for that student. I have a few takeaways as far as writing instruction is concerned. I would have to say my biggest one would be explicitly modeling what I expect from students and showing them explicitly what writing looks like. What are the steps of writing and how do those steps look? I definitely am going to take away taking more time in building consistency for my students, encouraging my students to share. In the past, if a student didn't want to share, even though it was highly encouraged in my class, I would just kind of let them have it and not have them share, but really building up students' confidence so that they want to share and are very proud of their work. And then having more before, during, and after activities for writing and even for reading as well. Writing strategies. I'm taking a lot away from this section. I've always had trouble with writing strategies in my classroom, and it was never really taught, or I never really had professional development on different writing strategies to use. So I am taking away teaching students that they should use different strategies when they write. And that's one of those things that but you don't discuss with students a lot, or at least I didn't. So it's something that I will be definitely telling my students is helping them understand that there are different strategies for different types of writing. I'll definitely be using the text comprehension question strategies. I want to do better at that in my classroom, and during that module, there were so many that I feel like I can incorporate. I want to incorporate the no opt out when answering questions. I like that you can phone a friend, but either way, you have to speak up and say an answer. So I want to use that in my classroom. And then really understanding right is right. So making it okay for students to get the wrong answers and letting them know that it's okay if they get it wrong, that we're learning, and provide them with the correct answer, but not making students think that something is right when it is not right. And even partially right answers are not correct. So making sure students understand the exact answer and knowing that it's okay to be wrong. When it comes to writing assessments, I'm taking away two major things from this course. The first is not just always having structured writing assignments, but making sure that I include ungraded writing assignments for students to practice and get comfortable. The other thing is rubrics. I did already use rubrics, but one thing that stood out was putting the highest score on the left and going down to the lowest because we do read from left to right. And also making sure that I'm going over those rubrics with my students so that they understand what I'm looking for and they know their goals. My biggest takeaway about writing achievement comes from the video lecture in Module 7, and it says successful writers understand that it is hard to be creative and critique themselves at the same time. That's why they are creative first and do their revising and editing at the end. This is something that I really want to push to my students this upcoming school year.